that bothered me. And so him not being back with the RailCats is going to be very hard to find him.
Okay.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The Railcats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. I'm Kyle Svetich. He's Chuck Polarek. And Chuck, I think we need to have a public service announcement because we here at the RailCats Talk podcast do not like to mislead our viewers. And when we screw something up, we want to apologize. So I know this is very highly important news. So Chuck, take it away.
I feel very bad at misleading the viewers. It's be honest, we can talk about the fact that I wanted us to have this podcast right away to set the record straight. We're not part of fake news. We're not part of this mainstream media nonsense, right? Um, it is important that we only speak facts. And the fact is, the blue crab has nothing to do with the blue blood that saves lives. Okay. It is actually the horseshoe crab. We can show a picture of both and show the difference that they are not even close to the same. The horseshoe crab is not even a crab. So I think, let me preface that with an I think, because I don't want to have another public service announcement about me being wrong. It happens very rarely, and I feel as though we need to set the record straight. So, once again, blue crab, not the one that has the blue blood and saves lives. That's the horseshoe crab. I stand corrected. I apologize to the viewers.
I'm just- You texted me that, and I'm like, oh. Okay, I guess we'll have a podcast and we'll talk about it. So that's what this week's about. No, I'm kidding. There's more that we're gonna talk about. I know I know we talked about the three things that we want to discuss. Three things: the ticket package, the we're gonna play the game of who the Railcats gonna play opening day, and then we'll talk a little bit of the history of the American Association like record stuff that they did this year. They sent out an article about like attendance and players and stuff like that. But I forgot to mention this. We had Andrew Mild on last week, and I got his name right this time.
Good
Now,
job.
down the road, I may get it wrong. But from that interview, was there any takeaways that you had away from that? Maybe something that you learned different.
Well, I didn't know too much about him being from the area, specifically being a Railcast fan growing up. And so, all of my all the home games, I think, except for one I was at, and I don't listen to broadcasts while I'm there like you do. So, I'm sure that those things were mentioned, but that's not something that I had kind of grasped onto. I thought maybe from the Chicagoland area, but not necessarily a Railcats guy. So that was good. That was good knowing that we've got a homegrown guy that's up in the booth. And hey, I'll say it 100 times. Guy's great at what he does.
Mhm.
Keeps you entertained for the duration, even when times are tough. Still, hey, he's in it and um, did his best, and it did not disappoint. So.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I enjoy his work, preparation, articles, all that fun stuff. I know he puts a lot of work and effort into it. So, um, again, thanks, Andrew, for jumping on last week. It was fun. Now, for a little bit of off-season news, I know we mentioned it 2 weeks ago that the ticket package was out, but they officially released the ticket package. The season tickets, that's per seat. It's $400. You get the same seat all you get the same seat all season. Basically from I believe the general admission starts after the third base dugout. No, no, the first base dugout on the visiting side. All the rest of it's technically reserve seating, so you could get, a seat there. For people that don't know, this is for the people that don't know, and most of these people that listen to the podcast know. But this is what we got to do. This is what we got to talk about. All right,
We've got to analyze the expenses over the past couple of years
Mhm.
and see what $400 gets you compared to what it got you 2 years ago.
Exactly.
I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe a couple years ago they were $150 or something like that a ticket. Something
I'm
to that.
not 100%. I know that's the individual season pass.
Okay.
The season tickets themselves, the reserve seating, you get the 30 you get 30 minutes access to every game. So the gates open an hour, you get it an hour and a half earlier. You get 20% on team discounts at the store. So, always like your discounts. You get exclusive season events, season ticket pickup events, cocktails with the cats, etc. Stuff like that. Really, this one, if they keep continuing with it, it's not really going to be that big of a benefit. But the American Association Baseball TV subscription, I think that the only way that would benefit if you want to go back and rewatch the games, um, that would be the benefit behind it. If you don't want to pay for that, if you miss a game, you can go back and rewatch it. You get $50 in cat coins if you purchase before December 15th. You got the ticket exchange program, and then you also have a VIP pass that's available for $100 that you can tack on to that. I think that's been pretty basic through the handful of years. I think uh, the season tickets at $400, I think that's stayed the same for at least the past 3 years that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
They probably so again, very reasonable pricing. I mean, it's $14 for a reserve ticket if you buy it at the gate or online or the case may be. Preferably do it at the gate or call someone because then you don't have to worry about the ticket fees. Fun fact. If you go to Tixer and you go through them, you get the ticket fees, so it raises up the price. So make sure that you're actually going through like the RailCats themselves because they'll be able to help out with that, like a Taylor Campbell and all of them. They'll be able to help you out with that one. But $14 a ticket, you get 50 games, more stuff to it. It ends up averaging out to where you'll actually spend less if you were to go to every game and buy that $14 ticket. If that's in your price range, and if it's just one person or whatever the case may be. They do still have the flex plan, which is $100 per pack. It's $10. You can redeem it to any RailCats game in the 2025 season. Then you have the individual season pass. That's one general mission ticket that you get all year, and it's $150. You go to a handful of games, and your money's already it's $10 a ticket. So realistically, you go to 15 games, and you've already made your money back. The one that I know Chuck and I both really enjoy, and it is something
Sports.
it is worth it.
Push it to everybody we know that
Yes.
we ever invite to a game. I personally have had, I believe, three people that have bought these because I've said, "Hey, it's such a good deal."
Hmm.
Last year, uh, got to get the family pass.
Yes. Family pass, $250. That's five tickets. Five tickets to
Every-
all the games, and if you bring everyone with you, or if you just give out a handful, like you're making your money back with it's probably one of the best deals that you will ever find anywhere. I don't know
Here's
about.
what I suggest. Here's what I suggest. Buy the family pass. Get 5 tickets to every
Mhm.
game. Okay. Then I suggest if you have a child, have them go out, mow grass, charge $50 to mow their grass, and give them 5 RailCats tickets to a game.
Yeah, there you go.
Right
I
there. You
you
mow five yards, you've got your money, you've got 45 games left to go to, and it's paid for itself. It
yeah,
is such a deal.
I mean, realist. It's one of those like I understand like the individual season pass. Like I guess if you don't really have anyone that goes with you, if it's just you strictly by yourself, I get it. But like spending the extra $100 and getting five tickets, so that way in case someone else wants to come, you don't have to worry about tacking on that extra ticket. Or if you know that people that would enjoy going, you can get. I do it all. I gave majority of my tickets away this year just because it's me and my wife that normally go. So I have three spare tickets. I'm not just, I would rather spend that or give those tickets to someone that's actually going to use it.
Okay.
Um,
Let me preface something here. One, everybody out there listening, did you just hear what he said? He gives away most of his tickets. So send him an email, send him a
Yep,
message
that
saying, hey, I want tickets. I want to go to a game. If it's the first game you've ever gone to, he will hook you up. There,
granted,
no granted, he'll hook you up.
I will I yeah, it's depends. I mean, obviously, if my family go, if my parents go, then, but I would say 95% of the time, I will have full tickets, at
40,
least three extra
that's
tickets.
40 games. 40 games, so I have 3 extra tickets. Ask him for tickets. He'll hook you
So, Twitter, Facebook,
up.
email, Instagram. So if you guys need tickets, just like, hey, you have spare tickets, and
We'll
I'll
do
send
our
it
best.
out to you.
Now
But
that I get 4 tickets behind home plate, and I will not give those to just anybody that asks.
no. That is the high tier Chuck Polarek VIP section.
Correct.
Only the most pristine fans of baseball gets
Correct.
those. He hasn't even offered me those
No,
tickets yet.
no.
I'm nowhere near that.
Put
I
it
now
this way.
now
I
Ryan
don't
on
even
the other
use those
hand,
tickets. I don't even use those tickets for myself. Those tickets
Ryan
for the
Ryan on the
boy.
other hand,
Ryan,
he
I
get
noticed someone missing, and I'm like, Ryan took him.
yep, he's thieving. That's realistically why he's in a crate right now. That's dog size, and he's full grown human.
Yeah.
Um, Disclaimer is not really a human, but anyways, that's beside the point. Just don't want anyone to
He's
break down my
human.
door and say, "Oh my God,
He's
he's
human.
harboring someone." But
It's
Ryan,
unfortunate.
we talked about this. So
He's quiet. He's fine.
and if you're looking to buy any of the season tickets, flex package, individual season, all that stuff, be sure to go through the Railcats again, because if you go through Tixer, they will charge you extra for fees and stuff. Taylor told me that last year, so just make sure that you go through the Railcats and hook up with one of the front office member, or the box office members, so that way they get you hooked up. So you are expecting you're spending exactly 250, not 270, because
Well,
of
and how
taxes.
you call up Alex, right? Alex is the ticket guy. You call up Alex. You say, "Hey, I heard about this on the podcast, RailCats Talk podcast. I heard it was $250. Don't charge me a dime more. I want $250." And and I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to say, if you say that it's the Real Cats Talk podcast that pushed you to get season tickets, and you ask him for a slugger meal ticket, he will give you a free slugger meal. I'm putting it out there.
I,
If you say
I,
we're the ones that push you it, he will give you a free slugger meal. If he doesn't, I will buy you a free slugger meal.
so it sounds like Chuck is opening up his pocketbook this year and giving it to people that want the free slugger
Oh,
meal.
we haven't even gotten to the pocketbook yet, because when we start placing our bets on whether it's going to be a home or away game and who we're going to face, it's going to be very expensive.
Oh yes, that is going to be the next game. The only downside that I think me and you both agree on with the switch from e-ticket to Tixer is that on the general season passes they took away the seating.
Right.
Um, Understandable, I get it, but again, I think that's something that they were talking about maybe trying to work into the system. I don't really know how that's going to work.
I
So it
actually heard when they switched it, and I said, I don't get to pick my seats now. They said, actually, you were never supposed to be able to pick your seats for that section. I said, what? I want my seats. I have people, I don't know how this happens, but I have people that stop me and say, hey, I see you at every game. I didn't see you there yesterday. I was wondering what was going on. And I had to tell them, oh, I was actually sitting over on the third base side. They're like, what? Why? And they realize that I'm at every game. And then I introduced myself to him. I think the guy's name was Dave, and his wife and his son got his son a baseball. I mean, it's cool stuff. But that being said, I need to have my seats. So here's another disclaimer. If you're sitting in that row and you're sitting in my seats, I will move you.
Or just get to the game early enough, and you don't really have to worry about it because you're normally there about 2 hours early anyways. So
Yep.
us peasants have to wait at the gate with the little chain or the little cup on the wall, and you're like, let me in, you know.
On the other side, say, please, please, let me see
Yes,
the
yes, they
football.
tease you because you can see the game through the gate, you know, the field, and they just tease
That's
you.
unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. So yep, just railcatsbaseball.com, I think slash 2025 ticket package on sale now is the link to go to if you want. I can also leave that link down in the description.
Call Alex, mention RailCats Talk podcast, and that you would like to have a free slugger meal with your purchase of a season ticket pass.
You push Alex because you probably go through Alex. I go through Taylor, so that's why I push Taylor.
Okay.
So that's you know they either one great. They'll handle your business. They will get you
Oh,
what you need.
absolutely.
I cannot promise the slugger meal.
Well, that's because
That's
you're Taylor. I'm going through Alex, and I will tell you, you tell him you would like to have a free slugger meal with
okay.
that
Okay.
if you mention Real Cats Talk podcast.
Okay, all right. There, we'll see if that one works out. Speaking of tickets and waiting for the season to start, the schedule's not quite out yet. But I rumor has it should be out here shortly. But with that, we get to play the fun game of who are the Railcats going to play opening day, and is it going to be home or away? So let's just put in. You can play the game, you know, along. You can pause the video or pause the Spotify or the listening, whatever the case you're doing, and jot down your answers real quick, and then we'll you know continue on. So last year they played at
Well,
Chicago.
I want to do four. Okay. So one, home or away.
Yes.
Two, what team are we going to face to open up the season, whether it's home or away, right?
Hmm.
Three, um, what team is going to win best field by the end of the year? And four, will Joe show up to opening day at home is the question.
Oh, well, okay. So there's the ground rules. All right. The
Okay.
first two ground rules were pretty well explanatory. The second background rules where Chuck came up out of nowhere. So those ones are the tricky ones.
Exactly.
The so let's just give it a rundown real quick. I'm not gonna go like too crazy with it, but last year we played Chicago at Chicago. 2023, Winnipeg came to town. The year before we were at Chicago, played Chicago, and the year before that was at home against against Milwaukee. The years prior to that was basically a back and forth with St. Paul. St. Paul obviously no longer in the league and the AAA affiliate of the Twins. So that's out of the picture. So Chuck, I'm gonna go with you first. Who do you think we will be playing and where will we be playing at?
Oddly enough, last year, not only did we start the season with Chicago, but we finished the season with Chicago. And I say to myself, what are the chances that happens again? I think those chances are zero. I think we start the season against Kane County and we start in Kane County.
Okay. I I've been battling back and forth with this one with King County, and I'm going to say Sioux City because let's just you know this is at home. I think they may have scheduled it like they did in 2023 because Taggart was coming back and they wanted that to get out of the way or the case maybe. So that might have been one of those that the Railcats kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, this is what I want if we can do this to get it out of the way." So in that case, I think I'll go with King County, but I think it's going to be at home just because we were away
Yeah.
last year, and you start this year at King County. It would be interesting to see a West team to come in, but if it is going to be a West team, I think it might be Sioux City. But so those would be my pick.
Okay. So, what are the benefits to being right here? I think we get punished if we are wrong. And here's how we get punished. the first person to come up to us and mention that we were wrong on the podcast, we have to buy them a bucket of popcorn.
Okay. Fine. Well, the fair deal.
Okay.
And
And if you
now,
come up to me and you say you were wrong, I have to buy you a bucket of popcorn. First person,
now,
not first 100, not first 1,000, but first person.
okay. First
Bucket of
person. Got it. Bucket of popcorn. So
Yep.
we're locking the answers. You, Kane County at Kane County.
Yep.
Me, Kane County at home.
Yep.
All right. So let's go this route. If we are correct, so like if you're correct, like 100% correct, well, there should be a punishment for the other one.
Well,
Not just buying like a bucket of popcorn. Something interesting. It could happen at the game. It could happen outside the game. Like, I don't know, getting a pie dish and filling it with whipped cream and pieing someone in the face. Um, Getting a bucket of water dumped on you. Uh, Wearing
you,
a weird costume.
you have to shave your head.
That's not gonna happen.
All right,
Yeah.
let's pencil. Let's put a pin in that one.
Well, how about this? How about we let the viewers or listeners
We
comment
could.
on that
But what
one?
happens if they release this thing tomorrow and then it's screwed?
Oh, well, you could, even at that, we can still have a poll in there, and then we can decide from there.
Oh, I don't like having the listeners in charge of what's going to happen to your hair, man.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the case. That's the case. So, but that's only 100%. It cannot be 50-50 or 25. It's got to be 100% on the dot.
100% wrong. Or sorry, 100% correct.
Yes, 100% correct. So
Okay. All right.
that's what, and then and on top of that, I want to know what they think the opening day
Yeah.
as well. Don't worry, we're not gonna pie you guys in the face or anything like that. It's just between us two. And don't worry, it'll be videotaped and it'll be plastered all over the internet.
That would be fun.
So the second ground or the third ground rule, which was, I'm sorry, short-term memory loss.
Um, who's going to win the field of the year?
Yes.
I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say Lincoln, Nebraska. The Salt Dogs win field of the year. You want to know why? Because it's a rigged election. That's why. It is a flippin' rigged election. There you go. You have it. Breaking news. That's my pick. And I have to be 100% correct on that.
I think that's a little bit of yeah, it's a little trendy there on that front.
Isn't it like 230 years in a row or something like
Yeah, I
that?
think it's ever since the conception of Nebraska's field that it was,
Yeah. Imagine that.
no, here's one. This I'm gonna go with Sioux Falls.
What? Sioux
Yes.
Falls what?
Sioux Falls Canary's best field.
No, you're
It's
I think
artificial. It's artificial. You
know
can't screw
you know
that
what?
up.
No, I think somebody needs to check your drink. I don't think that's lemonade.
No,
Um,
I
I only
I
picked this one because I wanted to make the point
I
that
know you want to make, but here's my thing though. So we both agree, even talking to Andrew last week, we both agreed that the Steelyard has the best field. Players argued the same thing as well. But I did like what Fargo did when they cut the Miles Wolf Cup into the outfield. So I think if someone decided to do some kind of cool graphic, in the outfield, like a big GS or a RailCats, or maybe, something cool like that.
I mean, now that you're saying it, I think that if we just had a big bar of steel across the
I,
middle of it, just a big bar, and
yeah,
we could
I mean,
steel.
you could probably do this logo.
Yeah, why not?
I
Or
think.
bend the team into a W.
Oh
There we
yeah,
go.
there we go. Yeah, it's all tying itself in together.
Yes.
See, uh, Send it, seal it, send it, bag it. We got it.
Noah, if you're listening to this, which you're probably not, you probably don't even know this exists. Um, our idea, run with it.
Yes.
We'll let it be your idea.
Exactly what you told Andrew last week.
Yep.
All right, so we want to take a stab, and now the fourth rule or the fourth question is Joe going to be at opening day?
Yep.
See, this is the interesting thing. Where is the Frontier League going to line up with the American Association is going to be the question. Because let's just call it what it is. The Mississippi Mud Monsters, what they're called, that they do have a name now. Um, they
That's
are
the one I voted for.
they are the shiny new toy, I would say for Joe, and rightfully so, and rightfully so. You're got a whole new team that's coming in. Obviously, you're
Maybe shut up.
purchasing the ballpark, whatever the case may be, but that is going to be granted. We haven't talked to him about it, and obviously, he's probably listening. He's probably like, "Oh, I'm gonna wring your neck out right now." But I'm just saying that would be something uh I could see him being there for the grand opening day for it just because it is a brand new team. Um but again, it just depends on where the Frontier League lines up. I could see it potentially if it lines up the correct way, him being at the Steel Yard, but I don't think he has been. I don't think he was there last year, and obviously he bought the team halfway through the 2022 season. So take it for what that is. Or
I
2023. That's what 20.
I think that first of all, that other team is going to take a lot more work. It's not a set it and forget it like
Mhm.
Gary is. So I absolutely agree that he would be there for the opening day or the start of this official team, and he should be. But that being said, I feel fairly confident that their season will probably start before ours or a week after ours. And I don't know that, hey, he's Joe. He does miraculous things. He bought the RailCats.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that I'm going to say Joe's going to be there. We can ask him. I mean, we'll know
Well,
before.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
this is all pure speculation. We're not. This is just for the fun of the game, right? This
Fun of the
is
game.
fun of the game. There's nothing that goes along with it.
Nope.
So yeah, there's all the Railcats news for today. That's all I got. Signings should should be if
I don't,
on
I don't
par.
know that, I don't know that signings are going to start anytime soon. I haven't seen anything that update.
So I'm just so last year the first Railcat signing was on November 6th. No, November 1st when Nate Alexander and Ty Tiedemann were signed.
Yeah, and that was after the winter meeting. So I'm sure that they're waiting till after the winter meetings before they
So the
start
first
out.
person that was signed overall last year was on October 24th when Milwaukee signed two pitchers.
Okay.
So this going back throughout without not last year was a little bit different than years past because you would have um the rights to their contract. But since they've kind of gone away from that, you don't have that anymore. You don't have like that big transaction coming through. So I would say throughout the league, we should be starting to see some signings going. And I think you and I both kind of agreed on trying to keep tabs
Mhm.
on what other people are doing, just to kind of, brief rundown so that we kind of get familiarized with the league a little bit. Obviously, if the Railcats sign someone, that'd be the big precedence of the podcast. And hopefully by that time, if they obviously speak well enough English and I can reach out to them quick enough, we'll get them on. So we get to know them a little bit better. That's kind of the game plan from there. So
So first signing, will it be a pitcher or a position player?
I guess I didn't think about new one, new fun one to figure out. I think I think position player.
Okay.
I feel that now, granted, I'm gonna, eat my words from last year that we signed two pitchers right away, but I feel that some pitchers like to hold out a little bit, just because they are able to show more film and more numbers to major league organizations versus a hitter or a fielder. Like, because you can only do so, with a pitcher, at least you can show their spin rate, their velocity, what their workouts are like. You can get that with a hitter, a fielder, but you can only do so much in practices. Um, so I think sometimes pitchers might hold out a little bit longer than that. And I think it just kind of depends on what um I we still have to I still have to reach out and confirm or deny, but we'll just for right now we'll just say Lamar what he wants to grab first. Um I don't we never know how those contracts worked out. So I don't like it could be a 1 year contract, it could be a 3 year contract. And if it's a 3 year contract, this would have been the third year of the contract. So it's just one of those like what is, that stuff still hasn't. I have to reach out to someone about that, but that's beside the point. So I'm gonna go with fielder. What are you gonna go with?
I'm gonna go with pitcher.
Huh?
I think it's gonna probably be uh one of those pitchers that Lamar wants to take a chance on. Probably one of those with not much, maybe some affiliate time, but not much. One of those younger guys um, that he just so happens to come by, and he's like, I need to snag this guy up. That's what I think.
Okay.
That's my pick.
All
I
right.
think I think that's I I I think he feels fairly confident in the positions and getting those well suited. But pitching, I think, is going to be where he's really focused. And when he finds something, he's going to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's kind of hard. Like I said, you hear different things from different people about the pitching aspect of it. Like, um, I think it's harder. I think it's easier to determine what a batter is going to be versus what a pitcher is going to be. Because it seems like in this league, pitchers are more hit or miss than hits most of the time. At least with batters, you can kind of look at their statistics and they can kind of, depending on what leagues they go to, but it's easier to determine what kind of batter you're getting. So I could see the pitching, but again, I think maybe this year you're going to start out with hitting because I think there's going to be a lot of turnover on both sides of the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes with it at first. I think just last year, I think the pitching was the big thing that he really needed to try to grab first because he kind of had his field kind of set already and his mindset of what he wanted. So it's going to be interesting how that all plays itself out.
I agree.
Um, so fun news just for the American Association in general. This year they put out they called it the regular season playoff streaming and TV viewership was up significantly from last year. Hats off to Kane County again for a rare playoff sweep, winning 7 games in a row, taking all of it. From the live. So they went from a paid subscription to a live free. When you watch it live, it was for free. That they had over more than 50,000 hours viewed. That was up from 29% from the 2023 season. Attendance to the games themselves were up 4%. That was a total of 1.61 million. Average per game was just under 3,000. In the playoffs, they were up 51%. I think that also helps when you have King County in the playoffs and you have Winnipeg in the playoffs, who and the last game of that third game of the Miles Wolf Cup final, there was 6,180 people that attended the game at Blue Cross Park in Winnipeg, and I know Winnipeg pretty much packed it every night that they were there. And King County always brings in high number of people, even during the playoffs. I mean, so obviously those are the two that I think I, I know taking away from just kind of getting myself familiarized with the league even more, it seems like there's a handful of teams that kind of get special treatment.
Absolutely.
But I think the teams that get the special treatment aren't the ones that should be getting the special treatment. Granted, I don't think anyone should be getting special treatment per
I
se.
guess it all depends on what you consider special treatment. That's do I think that there's certain teams that get better umpires? Yeah. Do I think that there's certain teams that have a little bit more leeway with what they get away with? Yes. Um, but that being said, uh, you don't necessarily see that turn into wins.
No,
So
I guess I'm going for more of a marketing theme, maybe I don't know, I'm just saying like, Kane County always brings in a lot of people. Winnipeg seems to be, like those seem to be the two top market-ish in viewers. I guess I'll have to go through Point Streak real quick and see what the end of the year. Um,
Kane County always wins.
yeah, they always win.
One, they've got a bigger stadium. They can seat more people. Two, they're in an area where people love to go watch because they were an ex-affiliate
Uh,
team.
so Kane County tops it. Chicago's 50,000 underneath that, and about Winnipeg's 100,000 behind King County. Then it goes Lincoln, and then it goes the RailCats. Ironic enough that you know bottom tier of the league as far as wins and stuff like that, but we're still up there in the aspect of that. So I'm just saying, I that's one of those where, especially during the playoff run, seeing what Winnipeg did. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's the playoffs. Everyone should be there. Well, that's not necessarily how it works. The MLB playoffs, yeah, they're gonna draw in more crowds just because MLB, you're not gonna get that kind of attendance in American Association. So seeing basically a sold out crowd for those games was a big peak in that. Um, Looking at other stuff, they had estimate of 3 to 4 million fans watching on linear broadcasts, which was through like Fubo Sports Network. Uh, the agreement with Gray TV to stream air like over the air network games. So more of like your traditional television. That kind of helps with that. Social media took a leap forward. There was about 15% increase in engagement through all platforms. JD Schulten, his jersey will be delivered is in the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. Brian Torres, who was the 2023 had the stolen base record for the Milwaukee Milkmen, now in the AA affiliate for the St. Louis Cardinals, won the Texas League batting title with a 331 and finishing eighth in that league with 33 stolen bases. And then they had 19 players from the American Association make their major league debut this year. So a lot of positives for the American Association, views, engagement, alumni. So not a, the more numbers. I think the fear after COVID was, would we see numbers rise, or would they start to kind of falter out? And I think finally, after 4 years removed from COVID, I think the numbers are starting to slowly go back to where they were kind of prior to COVID. And I think that might exceed a little bit more just with technology and with them taking down the paywall and trying to get it out there. Because the more exposure you have to your partner, to your teams, you're more than likely going to draw fans to the games themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that, but once again, Railcats is kind of unfortunately, it's kind of a niche thing. Like if you know about it, you're doing it, and if you're not, you're not. So I
Yeah.
know that anybody is like, "Ooh, I ran across the South Shore Railcats on, AABaseball.tv. Wow, this looks like fun. I should go there." I think it's the opposite. I think that you get somebody that's showing up at the Steelyard a half dozen times, and they're like, "Oh, I could watch it on here. I'd love to follow them." That kind of thing. But in order for that to happen, you have to have a winning team, I think, or you have to be making strides to have a winning team. And that's the next question. See, you only came up with two, and I've come up with a lot more than that. The next fun one is how many sellouts does the Steelyard have next year?
Well, we know one for sure from last year. So I would, if they're obviously doing Union Night again, I would say, yeah, that's probably gonna be a sellout crowd again. I know majority of their like Pop Warner community nights, they get pretty close. But I I would say one for sure, possibly two.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Alex hits it out of the park, and we have three
Okay.
sold out games this year.
Okay. And I in the case of my, I would rather be wrong
Oh,
than be
absolutely.
right.
I mean,
So
chances are you're going to be wrong. But that being said, Alex, I said you're going to hit it out of the park. If you're listening to this, I said three sold out games. Don't make me look like a fool. And the second thing is when they call you up and they say Real Cats Talk podcast, give them the slugger meal. Trusting you, man. I'm trusting you.
yeah.
Okay. And here's another thing. The giveaways. Do we have a bobblehead this year or not?
hmm, I would you know it would be really fun if they did a mystery bobblehead, because we were talking about this last week. If they had a mystery bobblehead, right? And when you got to the game, you figured out who it was, and the bobblehead would be Rascal, and they bring Rascal back.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Joe, you got that? Do you have that, Joe? That was to you. Let's make it happen. Anthony, if you're listening, which I doubt very highly because you're a busy guy. Not that Joe's not a busy guy or Alex is a busy guy, but let's make it happen.
Yeah,
That would be fantastic.
that
Could you
would be
imagine
fun.
that? That would be off the rails. That would be a heck of a surprise. You heard it here. Now
Yeah.
that there is like, I mean, the Railcat should pay you just for that idea.
Nah, no, no, no. I do it for the love of the
Right?
game.
Then what you have to say is, "Hey, Anthony, I know it was my idea, but I'm gonna let you run with that and say it was your idea." Can
Okay.
you imagine if you had a like it said surprise bobblehead, the amount of people that would just show up,
Oh, yeah.
and then to have that, like have the unveiling where he's like in the tunnel and they come in and they're like, "Rascal," and then all of a sudden he comes out like they're like, "Let us introduce, Rusty," and he's dancing on the first base dugout or third base dugout, and then all of a sudden Rascal comes up and just smacks him in the head, and now you have Rascal there too.
Yes.
That'd be fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes.
Great idea. That right there, bring people in butts and seats right there.
Oh yeah. Anytime you throw mystery at anything, people are like, I don't care what it is, the mystery.
Yeah. Well, like, okay. Like if you said we're gonna celebrate a mystery decade, I don't think you can have that many people showing up.
Well, no, okay. All right, fine. You
Mystery,
can't just slap
no.
mystery on all of it and call it a day. I'm just saying, like,
Mystery meat, not good to have in the concessions.
well, you never know.
That's for school lunches. So with that being said, I think that I don't think I'd be able to top that. That right there is a uh
Well,
fantastic idea. Now, let's say you have a mystery bobblehead, right? However, they're not all the same.
ooh,
So you
Yes.
actually have multiple bobbleheads that you're giving out at that time, two of them, three of them. And I mean, come on, that would be
That
fantastic.
that would be yes. Not everyone gets the same bobblehead night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, Anthony makes some phone calls. He's like, Trish, I think Trish is in Chicago. Hey, Trish, do you have any spare of the pickle bobbleheads from last year that nobody wanted? And they're like, well, yes, we have 5,000 of them. Well, I just need 300 of them to mix in with our
Yep,
bobblehead.
there you go. The Railcat pickle.
RailCat pickle.
Instead of rally pickle, it's Railcat pickle. Just scratch out the name real quick. Who cares?
I know. Come on. Half price.
You could probably even leave it the Railcat or the rally pickle and leave the Chicago logo on it. I think people would still take it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, who cares? It's a bobblehead.
So, okay. I hope bobblehead giveaway. That would be fantastic. But what event would you like to see at the RailCats next year?
I know when I mentioned it last year when they had the poll, you're the first one to say why, but just being so close to the Jackson 5 and not
Hold
having a
on.
Michael.
Hold on. Okay. I see where you're going with that. Because you said when they had a poll, and I was wondering why. I'm like, are we
Not
having
a poll, but a suggestion
yeah,
box.
okay. That's I was kind of wondering on this one.
A
Jackson.
suggestion box. And I said Michael Jackson died, and you're like, why?
No, I think that would be a good idea.
I will go back through I will spend a
I wouldn't
day.
no, I'm not gonna say a Michael Jackson night. I'm gonna say a Jackson 5 night.
Okay. If you want to go back to Jackson night or Jackson 5 night, then okay, that's fine.
I think we go Jackson 5 night.
Okay. I just think personally that should be a um a
Given?
staple every year.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I guess I've never been to the Jackson's house, so I don't know like if you need a ticket or something to get
They
in.
never invited I'm
Huh.
still waiting for my invitation to the Jackson house. They never invited me.
I'm just saying, even if they made it some kind of like if you bought a ticket to the Jackson 5 house, whatever, you get a free Railcast ticket. Like if that kind of
Oh,
like,
what if they gave away, on certain days they have free tickets that they give away at different places, right?
well, yeah, but
What if it
I'm
was
just
Jackson house? That would be fantastic.
I'm
The
just saying that way you're boosting the value. Okay, I'm gonna here's a little fun fact about that. So my wife, I love my wife. She's very very beautiful, very intelligent.
wonderful.
Um, but
She deals with Ryan
she deals with Ryan.
being locked in the thing, make sure that he has soup every day so that he doesn't start.
I I joked and I said, "Hey, let's just go down the street and go to the Jackson house." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Michael Jackson, Jackson 5. He lived in Gary?"
Oh man.
Yes, honey, he did.
Oh man.
So that was the day that I got up and I went to the other side of the stadium. Um, but love my wife, very smart, very beautiful.
Oh
But
man.
so good thing she doesn't listen to this.
Um, let me ask you this. What's the song that we play um that the Jackson 5 or Michael Jackson sings when he was a kid about being in Gary or Indiana or whatever it is?
Yes.
Like, do you think that he just like said, "Hey, let's pick one of the 50 states and sing about it"?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have picked Hawaii probably. I don't know.
Out of all places, Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, that wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna write that down next time we have breakfast. That is brought up. Another fun question, which I'm wondering is the coaching staff going to be the same this year as it was last year?
I, the feeling that I have, even talking to Andrew, just the feeling I think they will be. I just not sure about Jason. Just because a third base coach, sometimes those are just interim coaches that are trying to get their foot in the door places and that they get that experience and maybe potentially go somewhere else. So that's kind of like always a rotating kind of spot. Not saying that Brunson was probably the most ideal person to take there at third base the year prior, but I think he's this is his third rotation. Each year has been a different third base coach. Um, if Jason does come back, uh, I could see him. It could go like one or two ways. It could be Ramon and I can't think of his name.
Kiddo?
Yeah, Kata coming and Jason be gone, or Jason come back and those two be gone. And it's just a weird feeling that I have. I just
I,
say
I think Jason comes back. I think
I
if Mark comes back, Jason comes back.
I
And the
just
reason why I think that is I think that Jason really, and even though it was a tough year, I think Jason really enjoyed himself.
yeah.
Also know that Jason is the one that threw the batting practice for him.
Okay.
So I think that Jason comes back. He loved the area. And he really picked up a lot of the grunt work, I think. I felt like, not that I knew anything, but I feel like he picked up a lot of the grunt work. I also hope that he comes back because he did tell me last year that he had a broken bat for me and he never gave me one.
Mm.
So, Jason, if you are hearing this, I'm sure you're a busy guy, but don't make promises you're not going to keep. Okay. Just saying that now. Let's get this. Let's get this over with. Give me my
Whatever.
darn bat you promised me. Um, so that being said, I don't know. I think Jason comes back. I think Lamar comes back. I think K Dub is a phenomenal person. Um, I don't know if he comes back. And I don't know if Ramon comes back. Just because it feels like both positions really didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
I think that it's maybe one of those things where you're like, hey, in order to save Lamar's job, he's got to make some changes. And I'm going to throw it out there. I think that he brings in LaTroy Hawkins and he brings in Kenny Lofton.
Yeah,
Would
sure.
that not be some stuff?
That
So,
that would be
Joe, if you were listening, don't know how much you know about the area, don't know how much you know about Kenny Lofton and LaTroy Hawkins. But that being said, Kenny Lofton, fantastic outfielder, great hitter, uh, played baseball the way that the RailCats need to play baseball. Okay. From the area, East Chicago, I believe.
hmm
And LaTroy Hawkins, 20 years in the major leagues, phenomenal pitcher, played for the Cubs, hometown hero from Gary, Indiana. These guys, I'm sure they have not, you know what? Kenny Lofton, LaTroy Hawkins, if you're watching this, please come to Gary and make your presence seen and known.
Yep.
There you
I guess another alert for the Railcats. They are hiring for a marketing and promotions manager with Dion gone. They are hiring for a marketing promotion manager. So if you're interested in it, I think it's on teamwork. Or you go to the American Association homepage, go to careers, it'll pop up. They give you all the different options for different careers amongst those. So
You do you think that we should step in and we should do that job temporarily until they find somebody?
we might empty Joe's pockets.
I I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with
Uh,
that too.
and hey, it won't be Joe. We won't empty your pockets into our pockets. We would just
Oh no, no, no.
the bobblehead thing would work. I would definitely have Negro League Baseball Day against Kansas City, where we would have Negro League jerseys. I think those would be the two things that would be a must. We would have Jackson 5-9. You would insist that we have that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't have mystery meat in the concession stand anymore. Would not have mystery meat night. That's something that I would make sure didn't happen, Joe. And we would make sure that, you know, celebrate a mystery decade wouldn't happen either. So we've got things that we don't want to do. We also got things that we do want to do.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So Chuck, final thoughts for the show?
I believe this is the third week that we have had Ryan with us producing the show. And so hats off to Ryan on putting together a fantastic show from the doghouse. Uh, I'm really sad at our education system that your wife did not know that the Jackson Five were from Gary, Indiana. That in itself is going to cause me to have to call the local uh, teaching association PTO and just say, hey, we're really letting our children down. Um, yeah, so anybody that's listening, please reach out to your local PTO and insist that schools in Northwest Indiana let their children know that the Jackson Five are from Gary, Indiana. That's your public service now.
Well, I don't got anything. Hopefully next week I can set up an interview because I was a little bit lazy this week. For Chuck, I'm Kyle. Or well,
Who do you want to get next week? Who do you want to get?
I meant to reach out to Brandon, the super fan, or the not even I guess not even the super the MVP of the front office.
Yes, he was the MVP of the front office.
Yes.
He even
But
said thank you to us. Well, sorry, he said thank you to me
he said thank
for
you, dude.
saying that he was
Yeah.
the MVP.
You can get if I just take my phone and I move my fingers on my phone and I just type in, "Hey, when do you want to be on?" Um, that's just on me. That's
I'm kind of bummed out that Dion isn't going to be back. Here's why. Every time I saw Dion, it was never during the time where they're like, "Hey, find Dion."
mm.
Um, that bothered me, and so him not being back with the RailCats is going to be very hard to find him.
Okay. For the imaginary producer Ryan,
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
Chuck.
whoa!
I'm Kyle, and that's the RailCats Talk podcast. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening when you're watching this, and go Cats.
The Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.